Here we are, the last show of the week, and we're going into the Easter holiday weekend, and it's going to be a nice and mostly warm weekend in the East, with maybe just a minor interruption Saturday evening. However, from the Southern Plains to the Great Lakes, basically from Dallas to Detroit, we're looking at rounds of severe weather, and let's throw in areas around Iowa and Nebraska, which are getting it tonight. We'll go over all of that. Also, there's a spring snowstorm in the Rockies, and we'll touch on that too. And who knows what else we'll do tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast if you'd like by doing your Amazon shopping via our referral link. It's pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the descriptor to this podcast, and it keeps ads to a minimum. And by minimum, I mean zero. We don't have
Yeah.
ads up during the show. So be sure to give it a shot. And Amazon throws us back some coin. It doesn't cost you a dime, and we appreciate it very much. Those of you who have done some of your Amazon shopping via our referral link. So it's Thursday. I am psyched because we're not going to be back until Monday. So we're off Sunday. So
Okay.
if you're a regular here and you message me on Sunday about whether there's a show or not, I'm not going to answer you. Okay. I was- But anyway, uh, I noticed today by you, I won't brag about my weather because it was bright and sunny all day long, and we got to the mid 70s this afternoon after being down near 40 this morning, and there wasn't much in the way of wind. I noticed by you that while the winds wore down from yesterday, there were still some gusts of 20 to 30 miles an hour going on into this afternoon.
It was a little breezy. Yeah. Nothing like what we've had the last couple of days, but still the winds were active. Now, tonight, if all goes according to schedule, or if you're from the United Kingdom, schedule,
Casual.
um, thank you. We should see the winds die off, especially after midnight, to almost a dead calm. And under generally clear skies, we're going to have a big spread in temperatures from the 20s up in the sheltered rural valleys to my north and west to the 40s for coastal areas and also urban areas. So it's going to be, I think, a classic radiational cooling night tonight.
I would like to also report, Joe, that I checked this morning, and lo and behold, there was no frost in central and South Jersey or in southeast Pennsylvania. Uh,
Oh
I don't
God,
know.
I'm still wondering. Now tonight, I believe they have a frost advisory again posted for those
Yeah.
same areas. They
Yeah,
also have a
again,
frost
I think it
advisory
gets a little
posted.
confusing for people, in general, because the frost advisories and the freeze warnings, and you might say, well, okay, if it's going in the 20s in the Hudson Valley, why don't they have a freeze warning? Well, that's because it goes by whether the growing season has started. In the fall, it goes by when it happens to end the growing season. So, you could have temperatures below freezing, but if your growing season doesn't start till late April or May 1st, then you're not going to get a frost advisory or a freeze warning. So it's all about whether you're able to put plants in the ground or not. Here, most people wait till after Mother's Day because of I've been, here in North Georgia. I've been here in mid and late May where we've had frost. So it does happen.
Well, now we took the National Weather Service at Mount Holly to task for putting up a frost advisory last night when we
But who are we
knew.
going to take to task tonight? I can't hardly wait.
Well, I'm scratching my head. The Our friends over at the New York National Weather Service in Upton
Oh,
have have issued a special weather statement. Now, when I saw it
Upton.
was a special weather statement, I figured, okay, they didn't issue, but except for eastern Long Island and portions of coastal Connecticut. But for most areas, they did not issue any kind of a frost advisory or freeze advisory for
Right.
tonight. So I figured, well, okay, so they're going to address that in the special weather statement, which was issued, I might add, not too long ago at 6:14 p.m. I look at the special weather statement at 6:14 p.m. and it's elevated risk for fire spread Thursday. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, hold on. Thursday's almost
It's
over.
over.
This is something that you should be posting at 6:14 a.m., not 6:14 p.m.
Somebody
For God's
forgot to
sake.
hit the save button or something.
Well, and they talk about the low relative humidity values, but actually the relative humidity as we go into the night will rise,
Right,
won't
right,
it? Right? And the
right,
winds gust 20, 25 miles an hour, but the
Woof.
winds I just pointed out are going to be diminishing, and they'll
Right.
be practically nil by later tonight. So why in the world would you post an elevated risk for fire spread for today when today is practically over, and as you go into tonight, the winds are going to die down, the humidity is going to go up. I don't
It seems
understand.
as if someone just maybe made a mistake.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
last night's frost advisories for South Jersey, that was a mistake. That was a bad. That was just bad.
yes.
Well, anyway, all right, we had our fun. Okay,
I should also point out that Albany put out a similar special weather statement, but they put their statement out at 4:07 a.m.
right.
Elevated risk of fire spread today, and that made a lot of sense. That certainly makes a lot of sense.
It just
But
sounds
to
to me
put out
like
a
maybe they just accidentally resent something from this morning. And just it maybe
could
it
it be
automatically
possibly
changes the time. I will investigate this.
could
I
it
will.
possibly be could it possibly be that 6:14 p.m. really was supposed to say 6:14 a.m. and that
That's
I didn't.
probably that's
Yeah.
probably what happened, and it just got sent by mistake.
All right. Well,
But I will I will ask the House committee to investigate, to form a committee of Democrats and Republicans, and investigate the matter thoroughly. Okay, so we'll go from there. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and for those of you who are lurking in the background ahead of this Easter holiday weekend. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Our usual schedule is Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m., except that we won't be on this Sunday because it's Easter Sunday and Joe and I both have things to do. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button. So,
the executive producer is already making preparations for her annual Easter
oh, the
bunny cake.
bunny cake.
The bunny cake,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I'm having
So,
a smart dinner party on Easter Sunday, so I'm cooking. I'm going to make a leg of lamb and a French cut pork roast with roasted
wow.
potatoes, and I'm also going to make baked rigatoni. I took the my starter sauce out of the freezer. It's defrosting already, so the meat comes out tomorrow, and I'm going to get the pasta, the rigatoni ready on Saturday, so that all I got to do are the potatoes and the roast. I'm also going to be making braised asparagus, or as Bugs Bunny calls it, asparagus. And and there'll be, Horty Orvies. It's fun. I like doing it actually. I enjoy cooking very much. So,
We're
um,
having turkey on Sunday.
oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Uh, that-
I'm not
Rich
against it.
Watsmansky and Rich Watsmansky wants to know what time should we be over.
You guys come over anytime you want. I mean, you just got to pay the airfare and get yourself up from here in Atlanta. That's not my job. So, but if you do manage to go get over those obstacles, I do have some room here, so it is, we can do that. All right. Weather in the east is going to be relatively tame right through Sunday. Minor interruption Saturday evening. Maybe a shower. Somebody gets a shower. Maybe somebody sees a rumble or two of thunder, but that'll be about it. And it's pretty. To me, it's pretty straightforward. I'm thinking, still thinking upper 70s and maybe low 80s on Saturday, and mostly 60s on Sunday. On the other, well, and maybe like mid 60s to low 70s on Sunday on the other side of the front, and Sunday looks partly to mostly sunny.
Yes, it
There
looks
it
like a
is.
lovely Easter Sunday coming up.
Yeah. We do have a lot of severe weather that's in the middle of the country, and it's another one of these deals that's going to be going on for several days. It's starting tonight, and it's going to last right through Sunday. So let's take you through it and see what's going on. And we shall begin with watches and warnings. And we are seeing the flood watches that are up from eastern Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, across Missouri into northwest Arkansas. Now, some of this area got into the big rains a couple of weeks ago, but they were especially hard hit in Kentucky and parts of western Kentucky and western Tennessee. The axis of the rain this time around is going to be a little further west and a little more northwest. So that's good news for Kentucky and Tennessee, but not so good news for Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. We also have a working tornado watch in eastern Nebraska and in western Iowa. And in northwest Iowa to southeast Minnesota, we have severe thunderstorm watches. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories are up in Wyoming, southern counties of Montana, the western half. If you cut Colorado almost exactly in half, so basically just from Denver west, so from basically west of I-25, you're looking at uh, various winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories, and even some advisories in southern Utah and in one county in northern Arizona. And you are already seeing, by the way, there is warmer air that's starting to come eastward, and we've got some clouds into Ohio, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and Indiana. That's kind of a warm front that's coming up, but I think this time, Joe, I mean, back about 3 or 4 days ago, it was sort of trying to show maybe some showers, maybe as far south as northern New Jersey and New York City and Long Island. But now it looks to me like all those whatever showers that come out of this will go by in upstate New York and maybe into parts of central and northern New England.
Well, already, I had anticipated for tomorrow some afternoon high thin clouds veiling the sun, but already I can see in our sky, in my sky here in Putnam County, that we already have some high clouds up there. I guess the forerunner of the warm front. And as you mentioned, Joe, it looked like, for a short while, a couple of days ago, that the warm front might trigger a shower late tomorrow or tomorrow night. But it looks like it's going to come on through with just some clouds, and the chance for showers over this weekend will be with that cold front that'll be crossing through our area late Saturday or Saturday night. And even with that cold front, there's no guarantee that everybody's going to get wet. The front will pass on through before sunrise, and it looks like behind it, a nice bubble of high pressure will build in, setting the stage for a lovely Easter Sunday.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've got a 72-hour stretch of time. Maybe it rains for an hour in that time
Right.
period, an hour and a
Right.
half. Maybe it rains. Yeah, it's minimal. And the whole day side, all day Friday's fine. Day side Saturday is fine. Maybe sometime between evening hours and midnight, you get a shower or a rumble or two of thunder. And then after that, it's fine for Sunday. Yeah, total agreement there. And you can see the rotation back in the northern Rockies that's dropping southeastward now. This is the energy that's going to eventually start spawning severe weather. In fact, it already has some energy that's getting kicked away to the east ahead of the main area, which is going to be coming over the weekend. And we're seeing a lot of lightning strikes going on tonight in Minnesota, down into Iowa and into Nebraska. And this is where we have our severe weather watches up. And I'll just bring up the radar really quick, give it a quick refresh too. As it refreshes, Frank Scalera, thank you for hitting the tip jar. Happy Easter to you and to your family. And you're doing overtime tonight, making money. Well, that's good. Never a bad thing to do. A little cluster there, Joe, in eastern Nebraska and into western Iowa. Looks like there's a working tornado warning there. I Let me just check to see where that is. Let's see.
The SPC, by the way, is indicating 70% probability for thunderstorm activity from the Iowa Nebraska border on north and east across a good chunk of western Iowa and central Iowa on into southern and southeastern Minnesota and into north central Wisconsin. If you're anywhere in that zone, there's a fairly good chance that between now and midnight tonight, you're going to be undergoing some rumbles of thunder, flashes of lightning, and maybe some locally heavy downpours, and maybe even some severe weather too. So, if we have any watchers in that area, be advised you're in the zone, so to speak.
Yeah, that tornado warning, this radar is just a little bit behind, so it's already expired. It's 7:53 Eastern time, 6:53 Central. So this actually expired at 6:52. So it expired a minute ago. And this was for Dodge, Douglas, Saunders, and Washington counties in eastern Nebraska. And other than that, we have two working severe thunderstorm warnings in both in Nebraska and on the Iowa side, and you can see where it's flashing there. Otherwise, when we go to the north, go a little further north up into Minnesota, where the satellite loop was showing all the lightning strikes, and you can see the weather that's moving through eastern Minnesota and into parts of northwest Wisconsin, the upper peninsula of Michigan, and on the Canada side of Lake Superior. So there's some embedded thunderstorm activity there. Meanwhile, in the Rockies, we've got snow in Wyoming and southern Montana, and you can see also some uh, clusters of snow showers further to the north that are dropping southward in Montana, southeast Idaho down into Utah. So that's all part of this upper air system that's going to be swinging eastward and starting the ball rolling, start the ball rolling tomorrow. Storm Prediction Center tonight has an enhanced risk in that zone where we're seeing severe weather now. Up into southern Minnesota, it's a slight risk, and eastern Iowa, it's a slight risk, and that comes with a 2 to 5% tornado risk. And actually, if you look at what was on the radar and you look at the 5% risk area, this was an almost perfect forecast by SPC. Now, tomorrow, large area of slight risk from north central Texas northeastward through Missouri, through Illinois and Indiana into Michigan and southern Wisconsin. And that comes with a 2% tornado risk and a small 5% tornado risk in western Oklahoma. And then on day three, we're looking at slight risk from south central Texas northeastward into southern Missouri, and the marginal risk pushes all the way up through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and into western Pennsylvania. Notice, and this is for Saturday into Sunday. So SPC actually does not have any thunderstorm activity at all. They cut it off in northwest New Jersey, which goes along with what the models are showing overall is that, yeah, we'll probably see some stuff on the radar in Pennsylvania and upstate New York, but once it gets east of I-81, it's going to start falling apart, and it may just completely fall apart before it reaches the coastline.
Could very well do that. And I know that there are not too many people who are rooting for, unsettled weather over this upcoming holiday weekend. And if it matters if it does indeed peter out or weaken or completely fall apart during the upcoming weekend, and I agree with you, Joe, in the sense that an hour or two of unsettled weather, maybe an hour or two of showery weather might happen late Saturday night. But again, the daylight hours should be okay on Saturday and warm too. And then behind the cold front, another lovely day coming up on Sunday, dry with sunshine, not as warm as what we're going to see on Saturday, but still, when you can get the temperature at this time of the year to reach the low to mid 60s, which is a few degrees above normal, that's pretty good.
Miss Blue Ocean, we hope you feel better and thank you for hitting the tip jar tonight. The same goes for Christina Pedia. Happy Easter to you. Well, she wishes happy Easter to both of us and to Renata, and a happy Easter to you too. And yes, the week off is not next week; it's the following week. Okay, we're here next week. It's the following week that will not be here, and we will remind you next week because we will be here next week. Okay.
We'll be here.
Yes.
I'll be here.
Now, after all of that, I'm waiting for somebody to ask me, "Are you here next week?" Um, so, thank you so much for hitting the tip jar, folks. All very much appreciated. WPC, even if it does rain, Joe, we're looking at a tenth of an inch or less, or maybe a tenth of an inch or more when you get into Pennsylvania and further north into upstate New York. Then it picks up a bit more as you get toward the Canadian border. But I mean, it's we're talking minimal precip really from coastal Maine all the way down to South Carolina and Georgia and Florida. By the way, there's no precip in the forecast for the next 7 days. But we are setting up for potential for flash flooding from north central Texas through much of eastern Oklahoma, northwestern, extreme northwestern Arkansas, southwestern, and even actually up into central Missouri. That area there in the light brown, that's 5 inches or more.
Well,
That's 5 to 7 inches. And we've seen WPC, by the way, slowly increase that over the last couple of days. So now they're going a little higher and they do have a moderate risk. So this is for Saturday into Sunday, a moderate risk of flash flooding in that 5 to 7 inch zone that I just showed you, and a moderate risk is at least 40, but up to just under 70% chance of flash flooding for any point inside that area. So WPC, putting but pretty much stepping on the gas when it comes to this, and all of this is due to the fact that just like we had about 10 or so days ago, it's a little different this time around because everything is pivoted a little more to the northwest. Rather than going across the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, this is going more northeast southwest. So the axis is more like is Great Lakes to Texas. And if I just go back a little bit on the European here, in fact, let me just get you to make sure I got the latest European, and we'll just roll it back to where we are now. And of course, here comes that warm front. There's nothing with it at the moment. And then you've got these showers and storms that I showed you on the radar in Minnesota. They go across the northern Great Lakes. They kind of clip upstate New York and New England. But that is, we're going to be on the southern end of that warm front. And then here comes the west or west southwest wind. Actually, it could get breezy, but at least if it's going to get breezy, let it be warm. And that's what it's going to be because you've got 80s that are going to be coming up from the south and southwest and funneling in for Saturday. And you see the severe weather that breaks out. Here's the stuff tonight with this renegade, the system that's running out ahead. And then you've got lower pressures down into Texas. So you get some severe weather that forms tomorrow north central Texas to Michigan, which is what SPC's got the risk zone. And then that zone just kind of stays there on Saturday as it waits for another low to develop. And you see it there coming out of Texas on Sunday and going up into Oklahoma. And actually, Sunday afternoon, Joe, there's a really impressive looking squall line that the European picks up on from northeast Missouri all the way down into southeast Texas. But we're going to have this little frontal passage and everything falls apart and the high comes in and Sunday looks good.
yeah, and I only hope that if we do indeed see severe weather, for example, tomorrow, that it doesn't go down in the weather annals years from now as the Great Good Friday storm outbreak. As you know, that's
It doesn't look like it doesn't look like the tomorrow's severe weather outbreak or Saturday's severe weather outbreak looks to be it may be more rain than anything else. I mean, there will be severe weather there, but it doesn't look like it's anything crazy. Sunday might be a bit of a different story because you got this deepening low that's running up into from Texas to Kansas and up into to Iowa, and you get this really impressive looking squall line that develops in the lower and middle Mississippi Valley. That might be the Easter Sunday around a severe weather might be a bit more widespread, let's say,
yeah, yeah. All right,
in my opinion.
in your humble opinion.
Always knowing it might never to be humble. So let's also add Scott Briller, the chairman, hitting super chat tonight, and I think Chuck Cardillo hitting super chat tonight. Thank you for the well wishes for Easter Sunday, and back at you both. A happy Easter and enjoy. And I think Joe Rayo, you you have Briller Jeopardy tonight.
Yes, I do. I do have Briller Jeopardy.
You
And
do.
in fact,
You certainly do.
yes, and I'm going to get it right now. Well, I'm going to attempt to get it. You have no idea what I have to go through in order to get it.
Oh, you'll
Um,
get it all right.
you'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it.
And you may
And
get it real soon.
yes. All right. So tonight on Briller Jeopardy, we are going to be talking about another favorite or famous situation comedy, and that is All in the Family. John.
Oh, no. I
No?
mean, I watched the show, but it's not something that I've been, watched in reruns or binge watched. Certainly watched it when it was on the air back in the 70s. But mm, I'm
See, it's a funny thing. You and I, when we were growing up, we would watch The Honeymooners on Channel 11, and we thought The Honeymooners were ancient because they were in black and white. And oh, well, they were televised, they were on the air, back in the days, either when before we were born or just when we were born. And oh, that was so many years ago. And it might not have been much more than 10 or even 20 years previous to that.
I
Now,
know. Now it's
these
70 years.
questions.
Now it's 70 years ago that these shows were
Well, I'm
made.
not just so much that. I mean, but take All in the Family. You think All in the Family, you think of it because it was in color and because it was, trend setting or whatever. But that was the 1970s, and a lot of these episodes that are on syndication now, and I see them occasionally on Sunday nights on MeTV. They're over 50 years old.
I know.
And this first question, number one, this particular episode was actually on this past Sunday night. And the question number one is, and for those of you who are listening and want to try to answer this, when Archie gets stuck in the elevator, he is going to pay his what?
When Archie gets stuck in the elevator, he's going to pay his. I have no idea.
Okay, well, does anybody out there have
Um,
a clue? Mrs. Blue Ocean, Blue Ocean says, I don't have Me TV unless I could get it on
Christinapedia says
Roku.
taxes. Northern Grace says parking ticket. Rich Rothmansky says mortgage payment. Harold Olson said phone bill.
But
Lakeville,
Jason Fox did get it, though.
what is it?
Insurance.
Oh, insurance. Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. Okay, so here's question number two. How many consecutive years did All in the Family lead the Nielsen ratings?
Uh, I'll take a guess and say 7.
Not quite. They were very popular, but they didn't have that many in a row on
Well, we
top.
have Tyler Fenga and Rick Frank R at 3, Miss Blue Ocean at 4, Rothmansky and Brady G at 6, and Carol DeCara at 5. So which one is it?
Carol, Carol DeChera, you get it. The five. They were number one. All in the Family was from 1971 to 1976.
Fenga, Davidson, and Cassia also said 5.
Oh, well, there you go. How about this one, number three? What was the next door neighbor's son's name?
Oh, well, you mean the Jefferson's son, Lionel?
Yeah, there you go, Lionel. That's right, Lionel.
And Christinapedia got that one with Rich Rothmansky.
Well, let me put it this way: if you don't know who the next door neighbor's son was, then you probably didn't even watch one episode or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, whose cab did Archie drive on Sunday mornings? He used to moonlight
Oh,
as a cab driver.
was it Stretch Cunningham?
No, Stretch Cunningham worked with him on the loading dock.
Okay.
But
Mr.
Christopedia and
Munson's?
Rick Rosmansky got it.
The Munson's cab?
Mr. Munson, yes, Mr. Munson. And finally, well, actually, this is not finally because there's also a bonus question here. But what did Archie and Edith name the little mouse in there? I don't even know.
I
I
have
don't even
no
remember this.
idea.
What did Archie and Edith name the little mouse in their house?
I don't know why. Never even. No, I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever.
I fancy myself on All in the Family Trivia, but I don't even remember that.
Tyler
I agree
Finger
with you,
says
Jason Fox,
trouble.
and I have no idea when this one.
Northern Gray
Lakewood
says
191 says
Mickey.
Chachi.
Harold
Krista
Olson
Peter
said
says
Tweety.
Joey.
Well, Joey was their grandson. Um,
No, Krista
uh,
Peter, meathead.
Bob.
No, I'm gonna tell.
Just
No
say,
one's
oh,
gonna
yeah.
get
What was it?
Marvin.
Marvin.
Marvin the mouse.
Okay, that was the
Finally,
bonus. That was. Oh,
the
now you have the
bonus.
bonus.
All in the Family led the yearly ratings for 5 years. Only one other comedy series also spent 5 consecutive years at the top at number one. What show was that?
I'm going to say I Love Loosely.
I would have said that too. I would have thought I Love Lucy was up at
They
top
were
five.
well. They were dislodged in one of those years to number two by I think the U.S. Steel Hour or something. I forget. And then the next year they were back at number one again. But it wasn't I Love Loosely.
No, it was
Was
not.
it the Cosby Show?
You got it, Joe.
Yeah.
There you go. You got it. The Cosby Show.
Well, why don't you give a nice big loud bell ring for everybody on the chat board tonight who participated in this exercise.
Yes. There you
All right,
go.
so you know what? It's Easter weekend. I'm going to get it started early by going to bed shortly. So I hope that everybody on the chat board and those of you lurking in the background have a wonderful weekend and a happy Easter. And hopefully, you're going to be spending it with family and enjoy yourself and don't talk politics and everything will be fine. And the same to you, Joe. You have a very happy Easter.
Thank you very much. This is going to be another Easter, our second Easter with our grandson, who is now walking around, and as I call him,
Terrorizing everyone.
the tiny tornado. And
Yeah, that's
so
what
we'll
they
see
are.
him on Sunday. Yes.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you, all of you who hit the tip jar tonight. It was definitely appreciated. Frank Scalera, Christina Pedia, Ms. Blue Ocean, Chuck Cardillo, and Scott Briller. Thank you for hitting Super Chat. We'll see you everybody on Monday at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And William Jersey Shore, can we get more modern? No. Good night, Joe.
Good night.